So, the big question is this: how are entrepreneurs and real estate investors like us, ones who want to grow our businesses and who are tired of paying for really expensive alternative lending? How do we tap into the most inexpensive money available and do it without the hassle of typical borrowing? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. I'm Merrill Chandler, and welcome to the Are You Effable podcast. Welcome. This is the Are You Effable podcast. I'm Merrill Chandler, your host, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about how to actually order your business credit reports so that you can find out if there are deal killers or red flags on any of the items that would hamper you from building your fundable business entity. So hang tight. We'll come right back and we'll get started. Welcome back, everybody. So this episode, we're going to be talking about how to get your business credit reports, right? We've discussed in numerous previous episodes that what I'm going to refer to them as BCRs, business credit reports versus personal credit reports, PCRs, right? But your business credit reports are very important. As we've discussed in previous episodes, we do not have the same laws and rules governing our business credit reporting. There are specific rules that allow lenders, credit bureaus, et cetera, on the personal side with your Experian, TransUnion, Equifax personal credit reporting process. Those rules do not exist on the business side. So it's still a little bit like the Wild Wild West, as David Smith and I from FICO kind of discussed in our previous podcast. The Wild Wild West means that they can say and do things on the business side, business credit reporting, that are not allowed on the personal. So we've got to be aware of those. First things first, we've got to get copies of them, so we know whether or not your business can be a qualified funding entity. And one of the main qualifications: are there red flags? Are there deal killers? Are there trade lines that are showing that this is not a good entity? Because guess what? It is very difficult to dispute business credit reporting, whereas it's simple to do personal credit reporting. So let's get to it. As you can see up on my screen, we're going to be going through and actually showing you how to order those credit reports. So once again, we're going to use CreditSense. I've gone to Experian.com or SBCR, which is Small Business Credit Report, sbcr.experian.com, and that's where you begin this process. Now, in my case, I'm in Salt Lake City, and Utah is my domicile. Now, remember, I'm getting a credit report based on the domiciled, not foreign filed entities or anything else in other states. The credit report is based on the main corporation, because you only get one credit report per business. You can have multiple addresses listed on that credit report as extra offices or ancillary offices, but you only have, or you better have, only one business credit report. So I'm going to click on, so I got CreditSense, Salt Lake City, Utah, and my company. I want to pull up my company here, because you can pay to acquire other company credit reports. So we click on Get Credit Report Now, and this is one of the things that I want to show you. In this case, notice that choose the right product for your selected business, and it says that I have trade lines. So my credit report has trade lines. So it has given me all of these options. If you do not have trade lines, if you only have information regarding, let's say, your identity, like just from the state, from your Secretary of State or Department of Corporations, they're going to, they may list an $8 feature here, but because I have trade lines, they're giving me these options. Select the least expensive option, because you're going to find the red flags or the deal killers in the least expensive. So in this case, I could either do the credit score report, and remember, it's a score report, summary of the business and credit info, and summary of the financial payment. So these are all summaries. So in this case, $39 each would be sufficient. If I want more in depth, then I could go through and get the financial detailed and in-depth credit history, etc. So those are the things that you want to establish. What is it that you're looking for? For our purposes, the main point of all of this, guys, the main point is for you to be able to find out your identity data, your SIC code data, your NAICS code data. You want depth. You want to know whether or not you have a negative one. If you don't have a negative, any negative, any negative listings on your profile, then this is sufficient. If you want to find out more, then getting the in-depth credit history is probably worth the extra $10. If you want, if you want to monitor your own profile, they're showing it as $179 annually. And if you want to see what your business is worth, now be careful if you want to see what your business is worth, because they're going to make you they're going to make you input all of your financial data. Once you've got that financial data, you cannot take it back. So I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you what I do. I use these business credit reports as intel, right? Actionable intel. And I want to know what the BCID, the business credit identity, is all about. I'm not about supplying Dun & Bradstreet and uh, Experian business with more data than they need to identify me. What happens is, especially on Dun & Bradstreet, if you fill out all your financial data, you actually implicitly give them permission to put you on list to market to other companies, because your business is 500,000 a year, $10 million a year business. You're giving them the data. As of this moment right now, and we've got future episodes where we're going to be doing a deeper dive on how to use these credit reports to create the best FICO SBSS liquid score and the best funding approvals. We got more on that later from what we learned at FICO World 2019. But for now, use the data you're putting in here to create the business credit identity, and synchronize that and make sure it's the same across all three reports. I showed you my personal reports when we did the business application for Southwest. So in this episode, we are not going into detail about how to do that. We're simply showing you how to order them. We already did an in-depth review of my reports, both Dun & Bradstreet and Experian. Now, Equifax, while it is a viable candidate for business credit reporting, it is the data source of last resort for FICO's liquid credit score, right? SBSS liquid credit. That score uses Dun & Bradstreet first, and if there's not enough detail there, it goes to Experian. But if you've got a business credit history, it's going to be between those two, but you always want to find out what someone's seeing in case they pull the less used Equifax business credit. So when we clicked on this, there's a business valuation report, just add it on for $99. That's up to you. I don't do that. And so notice I'm already a member, so they're asking me to log in. The second I log in, it gives me the report from that previous episode. So I'm going to have you go back to that episode about reconciling your data points. It's 2 or 3, 4 previous to this one. Reconciling those data points is its own podcast. Here, I just want to have a special session where you can show you how you can order the credit reports. Now, let's take a look then. That's Experian. Let's go to Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet is if you want to write it down, if you're watching, you can see it up here. if you are not watching, it's businesscredit.dnb.com, and then just click on the products. This Credit Evaluator Plus is what I pull and what we recommend for finding out the data points. It's a report for one company, and again, it easy to identify how much credit you should extend to this company, or what our credit profile looks like when we're pulling our own, assess the risk factors, and see if there's any legal filings, meaning suits, bankruptcies, Chapter 11s in the case of a business, or more importantly, UCC filings. Some lenders file UCC filings, which kludge up the equity that you have available in your business. More on that. Sky, let's make sure that we do a UCC filing credit profile. We got a thumbs up from my producer, but that UCC filing, all about UCC filings and what they mean and how they can get in the way, and then how to vet lenders to make sure that they're not filing UCCs, right? And then, so all of that, you would click add to cart, and this is manage my business credit. There's Credit Signal if you want if you want to be able to see people inquiring about yours. That's an offered service. The Credit Builder Plus is the one we just reviewed. Oh, no, we're going backwards. Let's go back. And Credit Evaluator Plus. That's the 61 for just one report. Add that to the cart, create your information, pay for it, and you're in. Now, that is how you get access to your Dun & Bradstreet. Now, once you create this account, once you create the account, then you're going to be able to update that account. They're going to ask you to input things here, but you're going to be, once you set up an account, you're going to be able to go in at the iupdate.dnb.com that we did in that same episode, reconciling your data points episode. That episode is going to give you, so you can update your data and keep it current, just like I showed you guys where we had moved but didn't update the Secretary of State or Department of Corporations, and now there's a whole chain of events, including the United States Postal Service, all weighing in and giving data to these databases, these business databases, to make it more difficult for easy automatic underwriting approvals. So that's also a thing. We want to make sure we stay on top of that. So put in your information and do everything that they're requiring you to do here. But that is the businesscredit.dnb.com, and then product/credit-evaluator-report. That's businesscredit.dnb.com/product/credit-evaluator-report, and you'll be in there to be able to pick up how to grab that one. Now, our final one we want to review is, just in case you're looking, you need to order your Equifax as well, but it is the database of last resort, out of the mouth of FICO and David Smith. FICO Equifax Business Credit Report is the third in line. All right. So you would find a company, and when you look for that company, you input the data. So I'm going to put in CreditSense and the address. Now remember, I'm putting in my old address, 455 North, because that's what it has on record. Let's try something here. Let's just put in CreditSense and Utah, and put in only the main ones that they demand that we have, right? So Utah, those are the only ones that are required. Hit the search button. And once I am at the search button, it brings up CreditSense 455. Notice it hasn't been updated yet, even though on the state I have updated this. Now I'm training my team in how to effectively assist their clients, especially our valet clients, to make these changes and keep everything updated. So there's the CreditSense. There's CreditSense LLC, which is a previous version. I explained all of this in the previous episode. And so we're going to select that one, and this is where it gives me the information to to do it. So expand my choices. Notice there is $7.49 and show a sample report. Now, one thing to watch out for, guys, is that notice CreditSense, I made it one word. If you have like CreditSense, some people put it in, use it in 2 words, and so we want to make sure that you try to find your company in every version of your name, because if for some reason it got put wrong, got put in wrong, you're going to end up with wrong data, or looking at the wrong iteration of your business, or you'll be able to at least find out what the confusion is. And then we're back to expand the choices. Risk in a 5-company multi-pack, and $7.97. So that's how you order your business credit reports. Both, as I said, the most important one, start out with Experian and Dun & Bradstreet. The order doesn't matter, but those are the 2 main ones. Then go to the Equifax, and this is the address here is SB small business econsumer.equifax.com/bizdirect/smallbusinessselect.ehtml, and then work on how to and then check your data. Now, the only drag about Equifax is that Equifax and Equifax and Experian both require that you send in a copy of your credit report marked up with a letter telling them how to update it. And we may get into that a little later, but Dun & Bradstreet has an iUpdate free of charge. You can go in and update it, and then they verify. But Equifax and Experian both require you to write a letter and get the updates. So, guys, simple episode today, but if you're going to take your qualified funding entity to the next level, you've got to check out your current businesses. Now, here's the drag. If you've got multiple businesses that you want to find out which one should be the funding entity, then you have got to go to the boot camp and find out what the criteria are for the best the candidate, because there are exercises we have to do. I can't do that on the podcast because you may have 3 or 4 different LLC, you might have a stock corporation, you may have 2 years or 10 years. There are so many criteria that we need. You may be doing real estate investing in one and not in the other. Go to the boot camp, getfundable.com, click on the boot camp button, and go to the boot camp so you can fill out all of the worksheets that are going to help you establish what your fundable entity needs to look like. We in previous podcasts we reviewed the criteria, but we need to be able to customize which one's going to be your best funding entity. This is Merrill Chandler. Have a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Are You Effable? Hey guys, thank you for listening to Are You Effable? Please leave comments because I would love to read about your aha moments from this episode. And be sure to visit fundinghackers.com to view the blog post, get important links, join our community, and much, much more. And you gotta tell your friends about this podcast. We want them to become effable too.